Ever imagine going from, like, literally zero to building a billion-dollar empire?
It's quite a story.
That's Dr. Velumani, founder of Thyrocare.
Yeah, talk about a self-made billionaire.
And the thing is, it's not your typical rags to riches tale.
Not at all. This guy, he grew up in a village without electricity. Can you believe that?
No mentors, no handouts, just, like, pure hustle.
Just grit and this completely unique way of looking at the world.
It's amazing, right? His mom raised 5 kids. Think about that. On a shoestring budget.
Talk about resourcefulness. She sold buffalo milk literally a liter at a time to make ends meet.
It's incredible. And you can just imagine the impact that had on him as a
Hey,
kid.
absolutely. He wasn't just watching, he was living it, learning how to stretch every rupee, how to innovate out of necessity.
Exactly. He's actually talked about how those early years really shaped his approach to business.
Makes sense, right? It's like
Mhm.
those experiences became the foundation for his later success.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like when he talks about his mom saying, "You're the oldest, walk straight, your siblings will follow," it's more than just chores, you know?
Oh, for sure. That's leadership training 101. It's
Yeah.
responsibility, understanding what others need, stepping up even when you don't have much yourself.
Exactly. Those are some seriously valuable skills, especially in the crazy world of business, right?
Absolutely. They translate across the board.
And it gets even more interesting. He talks about this idea of viewing poverty as a pyramid.
As a climb, not a dead end.
Yeah. Like each level brings new challenges, bigger goals, and ultimately bigger rewards.
It's all about mindset, right? He didn't see himself as stuck, but as an active participant in shaping his own future,
So powerful. Instead of being defeated by hardship, he was fueled by it.
which is a lesson for all of us, I think, how our perspective can either hold us back or set us free.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
It's amazing, when you really think about it, those challenging early experiences, they basically became his training ground for entrepreneurship.
Totally. Like he'd faced so much adversity that he was almost fearless when it came to taking risks.
It's like he built this immunity to the fear of failure that paralyzes so many people.
Yeah, exactly. He believed he could overcome any obstacle because, well, he kind of already had.
Exactly. Time and time again.
And his path to becoming an entrepreneur, man, talk about unpredictable.
It's like life was throwing curveball after curveball.
He just kept swinging though, right?
He did. It's remarkable. Think about this. Starts with a BCom, switches to BSc because it's cheaper.
Can you imagine?
And then he practically gets hand-delivered to the science department by this professor who sees something in him.
It really makes you think about those sliding door moments, you know?
It does. What if he'd never met that professor, Dr. K.R. Karthikeyan?
Seriously. Talk about a mentor who can change your whole trajectory.
Right. To recognize that potential, maybe even before Dr. Velumani himself saw it.
It's powerful, someone believing in you like that.
And that switch from BCom to BSc, it wasn't just about the classes themselves,
Right, it was bigger than that.
It was about this realization that real knowledge, the kind that sticks, comes from diving in, getting your hands dirty, not just memorizing stuff.
Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school.
Exactly. He was all about experience over qualifications.
Powerful stuff.
He really is.
But then, hold on, because the story takes another turn. Picture this. 1982, he's leaving his mom for the first time ever. Arrives in Mumbai.
During monsoon season, no less.
And I mean, we're talking torrential downpour.
Talk about a dramatic entrance. He gets there with, get this, 100 euros sewn into his clothes.
He didn't trust wallets?
Nope. And as if that wasn't enough, there's a railway strike.
Oh, no. Can you imagine?
Total chaos, right?
But even with all that, the rain, the uncertainty, there's this feeling of, this is meant to be.
It's true. He even arrived a day early for his interview at BNRV, the Baba Atomic Research Center, because of the train schedule.
So he's ahead of the game.
Right. But then those crazy rains hit, and the interview gets pushed back.
And because he was early, he's one of the only ones who can actually make it to the rescheduled interview.
Destiny. If he'd arrived on the original day, he might have missed out completely.
Wow. When you put it like that, it makes you wonder,
About how it all lines up.
yeah, like all these seemingly random events come together to shape our path.
Like a cosmic dance.
Totally. And these fortunate misfortunes, as Dr. Velumani calls them, they teach you something really important.
What's that?
That sometimes those unexpected detours, they lead you exactly where you need to be.
It's about being open to those twists and turns, those unexpected chances, even when they look like obstacles at
It's
first.
about adapting, right, rolling with the punches.
Exactly, because sometimes the most scenic route is the one you didn't plan on taking.
But, okay, get this, because
Mhm.
this is where things get really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine leaving a secure government job, right,
The stability, the pension,
to start a company
from scratch.
from a cramped little 150 square foot garage.
Wow.
Talk about a risk.
Huge. And with two young kids at home, it wasn't just him he was risking it for.
Right, his wife left her job, too, to join him.
Now that's belief in a shared dream, wouldn't you say?
Totally. It's more than just a leap of faith. It's like this unshakable trust in each other and this vision they were building together.
Exactly. And I think this is where Dr. Velumani's scientific background really comes into play.
Oh, how so?
Well, remember, his specialty was thyroid disorders, right? Conditions that need constant monitoring, not just a one-time treatment.
Ah, I see where you're going with this.
It's like he applied that same logic to building the business, long-term commitment, creating something sustainable, not just chasing quick wins.
Makes sense.
It's all about the long game, right?
Absolutely. And that's reflected in Thyrocare's whole disorders over diseases approach.
Exactly. Building a loyal customer base who would rely on their services for years, even decades.
It's pretty brilliant when you think about it.
It is, but it wasn't just their vision. Their growth strategies were, well,
Let's just say they weren't exactly conventional.
right. No loans, just steady organic growth. And then there's the whole single kitchen, multiple restaurants model.
Okay, now that one's got me intrigued.
Think of it like, say, a popular dosa chain, one central kitchen that serves numerous outlets efficiently.
Ah, I'm starting to get the picture.
Instead of investing heavily in multiple labs, they centralized operations, which, you guessed it, drastically cut down costs.
So smart.
Right. And they applied the same principle to their pathology services.
How so?
Samples collected during the day, processed overnight, reports delivered online by morning, almost like a well-oiled news cycle.
Wow, never thought of it that way, but it's true. Maximizing efficiency to keep those costs down.
Exactly. Which allowed them to offer these incredibly affordable tests, something unheard of at the time.
It's amazing how he drew inspiration from such different places. His mom's financial savvy, a dosa chain's business model, even the newspaper industry.
Right. Constantly observing, making connections, finding innovative solutions where you'd least expect them.
It really goes to show sometimes those unconventional paths, those are the ones that lead to the most incredible destinations.
They really are. But of course, this journey, it wasn't without its share of heartbreak.
Right, just before Thyrocare's IPO, his wife, his partner in every sense of the word, she tragically passed away.
A devastating loss, but in her memory, Dr. Velumani continues to champion the potential he sees in others, especially women, encouraging them to embrace their own journeys.
What a powerful legacy, both in the business world and beyond.
It really is this idea that success isn't just about building empires, it's about using your experience to lift others up.
So true, and as we wrap up this deep dive into Dr. Velumani's life, it really gets you thinking, What seemingly ordinary experiences in our own lives, what if they hold the seeds of something extraordinary, just waiting to be nurtured and shared with the world?